Everyone is talking about using AI in the classroom. You see the headlines everywhere. Some promise it will revolutionize education overnight. Others warn it's the end of authentic learning. But beyond the hype and the fear, a simple question remains for teachers on the ground. What actually happens if you try to run your entire classroom workflow with it? Not just for one lesson, but for a whole week. We decided to find out. This isn't a story about magic software or a robot teacher. It's a real-world experiment, documented from day one, to uncover the truth about what artificial intelligence can and cannot do in a busy school environment. The stakes were incredibly high from the start. Could AI genuinely save precious time, that one resource teachers never have enough of? Or would the time spent wrestling with prompts and correcting mistakes just create more work? We wondered if the quality of teaching would suffer. Would AI-generated lessons be shallow, generic, or completely miss the mark for our students? There was also the fundamental question of feasibility. Could these tools even handle the complex, dynamic, and often messy reality of a classroom? We were prepared for anything, from total failure to a surprising breakthrough, and we committed to sharing the unvarnished results with you. The goal: run classroom workflows with AI for 7 days. Lesson planning, differentiation, assignments, grading, feedback, communication. With the scope defined, we established 2 simple but firm rules for the 7-day period. The first rule was to use AI for every possible task within those 5 domains. This meant no more starting from a blank page. The first draft of every lesson plan, every parent email, every quiz question had to come from the machine. This commitment was designed to push the tools to their limits and see where they would excel and where they would inevitably fall short. The second rule was just as important. The teacher always makes the final decision. AI was the drafter, the assistant, the tireless generator of ideas. But it was never the final authority. They were responsible for reviewing, editing, and ultimately approving every single piece of AI-generated content before it ever reached a student. This rule ensured that pedagogical quality and student safety were never compromised. Over the next 7 days, we will take you through this journey, step by step. You will witness the moments of genuine excitement. You will also see the frustrating moments of nonsensical suggestions. By the end, we will deliver a clear and honest verdict on the entire experience. Was it worth it? Let's begin with day 1 and find out. Day 1 was dedicated to the heart of a teacher's work: lesson planning, sped-up screen recording, teacher writing short prompts, and AI generating sections. Armed with insights from the previous day, the teacher tried a new strategy. Instead of one massive prompt, they broke the plan into core components and prompted AI sequentially. First, generate 3 potential learning objectives for a 45-minute lesson on ethos for 9th graders based on Common Core Standard, CCSS, ELA Literacy, RI 9-Dear 10.6. The AI responded instantly with clear, measurable objectives. The teacher selected the strongest one and moved to the next step. Using that objective, they prompted the AI for a hook activity. Chunking transformed the AI into a step-by-step collaborator. For each request, the AI acted like a lesson plan factory. In under 20 minutes, the teacher had a complete, detailed lesson plan, normally an hour's work. Despite the impressive speed and structure of the AI-generated lesson plan, the need for the critical human edit became glaringly obvious. The plan, as it existed in its raw form, was a perfect skeleton, but it lacked a soul. The pacing, for example, was unrealistic. An experienced teacher could tell at a glance that these timings were too tight. They didn't account for the messy, unpredictable realities of a classroom. Student questions, transition times. The next critical edit involved context and relevance. The teacher knew their students would connect more with contemporary, culturally relevant examples. Furthermore, the AI's plan lacked crucial instructional scaffolds. The teacher designed a simple graphic organizer to guide student thinking. By the end, the lesson plan was transformed. The AI's version was the blueprint. The teacher's final version was the fully realized building. Total time: prompting, reviewing, and editing, about 40 minutes, a 33% reduction from the typical 60 minutes. The AI handled structure and idea generation, which freed the teacher to focus on higher-order tasks, tailoring the content, anticipating student needs, and infusing the lesson with relevance and creativity. Day 3 was the ultimate test of the AI's adaptability, differentiation. Could it go beyond a one-size-fits-all lesson and create materials for a classroom of diverse learners? The prompt was specific: rewrite the article at 3 reading levels. The AI processed the request and, in less than a minute, produced 3 distinct versions. The results were astonishingly effective. What would have taken the teacher over an hour was done in about 5 minutes. A massive win for efficiency and for equity. Buoyed by success, the teacher pushed further, asking the AI to differentiate the task itself. The AI delivered. It produced a heavily scaffolded worksheet, a standard version, and an extension activity, all aligned to the same learning objective. But the day also revealed AI's limits. It was excellent at rule-based modifications, but it lacked understanding of individual learning profiles. The AI could create different paths up the mountain, but the teacher had to guide each hiker. The AI handled the what. The teacher managed the who and why. Day 4 was all about content creation. The efficiency gains on this day were perhaps the most dramatic of the entire week. The teacher then copied and pasted this text into their presentation software. What normally took 45 minutes was reduced to about 15. The AI repurposed the content it had just created, generating a perfectly matched worksheet that reinforced the key concepts from the presentation. This ability to seamlessly repurpose content from one format to another was a superpower. Finally, for the vocabulary quiz, the AI generated the questions, plausible distractors, and an answer key in seconds. In total, the creation of a slide deck, a worksheet, and a quiz took just under 30 minutes. The baseline measurement for this same set of tasks was nearly 90 minutes. Day 5 brought the experiment to its most sensitive and complex domain: assessment and feedback. The AI was highly effective at creating objective-based questions that tested recall and basic understanding. The real challenge came with the AI feedback generator. The teacher fed the AI a few anonymous student samples. But the limitations soon became clear. The feedback lacked warmth and encouragement. It was clinical and often overly critical. A human teacher would praise the creativity and gently guide the student back to evidence. The AI struggled to balance critique with motivation. The biggest failure was assessing nuance. The AI, unable to analyze multimedia described in text, flagged the student's most insightful observation as irrelevant. On day 6, the focus shifted from classroom instruction to the equally important work of communication. The teacher's first task was to draft the weekly update email for parents. The entire process took less than 5 minutes. This was a huge win. Next, the teacher experimented with student communication. The quality and tone were so good that the teacher used it with almost no edits. The final test was using the AI for accessibility. The AI provided a translation that was far more natural and contextually appropriate than standard online translators. The final day of the experiment was about synthesis. The teacher's goal: run a full lesson using only materials co-created with AI. Differentiation via AI raises engagement across the classroom. AI built the ship. The teacher is the captain navigating the currents. The biggest win: a feeling of flow. The teacher feels empowered, prepared, and more present for their students than ever before. After 7 days of living inside this AI-powered workflow, one clear and undeniable win emerged above all others: the radical saving of time. Our baseline measurement showed the teacher spent roughly 12 hours a week on these core tasks. With the AI Copilot, that number was cut down to just under 6 hours. The hours spent agonizing over the first draft of a lesson plan, a worksheet, or a parent email simply evaporated. This wasn't about working less, but about working smarter. The AI acted as a force multiplier for the teacher's effort. The second major area where AI truly excelled was producing consistent, scalable, and creative instructional materials.
Teacher, give me 5 new ideas for a hook activity. Narrator, perhaps the most surprising benefit was the AI as a creativity engine. It became an infinite, on-demand brainstorming partner.
For all the incredible efficiency gains, the 7-day experiment exposed stark limitations. The first and most significant failure was the AI's complete lack of contextual understanding. It had no concept of our specific school culture or the unique personalities in the classroom. Another major area where AI failed was providing nuanced, empathetic feedback. It could find errors but couldn't inspire growth. We also saw issues with accuracy and shallowness. The AI sometimes generated content that was factually incorrect, yet presented that misinformation with a confident tone. Finally, the experiment highlighted serious ethical considerations, from the risk of over-reliance to data privacy. After 7 days, the single most important takeaway became crystal clear. The conversation around AI in education is asking the wrong question. It's not about whether AI will replace teachers. It won't. The real story is what AI is poised to replace: the outdated, inefficient workflows that have burdened educators for decades. Think of it as a co-pilot, not the pilot. The AI handles the paperwork, while the teacher handles the people. By offloading the right tasks to digital assistants, we can unlock more time and energy for the deeply human work that inspired us to become educators in the first place. So, after a week of replacing traditional workflows with artificial intelligence, we return to the big question: was it worth it? The answer is a resounding but qualified yes. As a full replacement for a teacher, AI is not only ineffective but also undesirable. However, as a tool to radically improve efficiency and reduce administrative burden, it was undeniable and transformative. The final verdict is clear: AI is not the new teacher, but it might just be the best teacher's assistant ever invented. For those ready to take the next step, we've compiled our best prompts and workflows into a downloadable 7-day AI classroom workflow guide. And if you want to continue exploring how to actually use AI in your classroom, be sure to subscribe to Skill Builders Academy. The experiment is over, but the journey is just beginning.